Boom. Greetings from YouTubeville. Once again, Danny Savage, Drafts Guru. If you like the video, subscribe, give it a like. Also, hit the notification button so you know when I go live. Also, hit the hyper button. First, I want to say, listen, bro, it is really, especially on the Northeast, it's really bad out there. Stay off the streets unless it's an emergency because if you're out there and then you get into a jackpot, other people have to put their lives in a jackpot to go help you out. It's really bad out there. So, the title of this video is going to be Appreciate Now, Bo. Thank you for jumping in the chat, Franklin. Coaching matters. And when you allow your coach to pick the talent. So we're going to go over the Patriots draft too. And my draft grade I gave them and who they drafted. Jar Jar, what's up? New England Patriots about to win. I don't know, man. It's going to be a tough one. I think, I don't know, man. I could care less, to be honest with you, but maybe the Rams. If I was throwing anything down on this game, which I'm not, I think the Rams are going to beat Seattle, but who knows? But this just shows you how much coaching matters, and when you allow your coach to pick their talent, plus you have a coach that played. He was a star in college at Ohio State, Mike Vrabel, and he had a crazy career with the Patriots. So last year, the Patriots were hot garbage. One and done with Gerard Mayo. Vrabel, supposedly they were saying, and when he was with the Titans and other coaches, other organizations didn't want to bring him in for interviews because Vrabel was too intimidating. Bro, it's football. This isn't table tennis. So Mike Vrabel comes in, brings his staff. Their first pick, everyone was complaining about Will Campbell, LSU's left tackle, who I think he either gave up 1 or 0 sacks in his entire career in the SEC. Everyone, he was my offensive tackle 2 or 3, Will Campbell. Everyone was complaining he had short arms. So they brought him in for a visit, and they also brought in Frazier, I believe. They're LSU's right tackle / guard, who the Detroit Lions took in the 5th round. But so Will Campbell and the other kid, they come to visit New England. Mike Vrabel put on a helmet and shoulder pads and went at it with these 2 kids for reps to see if this kid can play or not. How many other coaches would even attempt to do that? And he's like, yeah, Will Campbell can play, you know. And like I saw like there was some people like ragging on the kid. He had 1 bad game against Myles Garrett, who only set the record this season. He broke the all-time record. Amazing Creations, boom. Will Campbell had 1 bad game the entire season. As a rookie, he gave up 5 sacks, and 3 of them with Myles Garrett in 1 game. Then he was my number 2 running back, Trevon Henderson, out of Ohio State. Kyle Washington, wide receiver. Bro, your entire left side of the line was rookies. Then in the third round, you took Georgia's center, Jared Wilson, and you put him to guard. Vrabel did not do like this exotic, no exotic offense. Basically, between Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson, two big backs, and he played smash mouth football. Effing Chisholm, you guys got. Easton Washington, I know he was one of my sleepers. He had a shitload of return yards for you guys, punt returns, kick returns. He had a touchdown against the Jets. But you see, that's why a guy like Mike Vrabel, he'll watch tape and he'll draft a football player versus a workout warrior. Coaching matters, and you have one draft where your top couple people contribute. Some free agents, undrafted free agents even contribute. Bam, you do a turnaround. Hocus pocus. It just shows you how much this Patriots team shows you how much coaching matters. And look at your wide receivers or your lack of wide receivers. Diggs, he vanishes for games at a time, but this just shows you what the Patriots did this season shows everybody. Defense. I said this last night. I was on a podcast. Give me a top 10 defense and a running game over a $250 million cornerback and $200 million wide receivers. This just shows you. And look at the environment it was playing in today. The East Coast is even worse. But does anyone think a team could have passed for 8,000 yards? Would they pass it in this environment? No. It comes down to Pop Warner. And these dudes make this shit so much more complicated than it has to be. It's not. Football is basic X's and O's. As long as you can play defense, as long as you can run the ball. Sam Darnold is one game away from the Super Bowl. He went through 6 teams. Let's see who else jumped in the chat. Defense wins championships. Charlene, boom. Thank you for jumping in the chat. 2 years and you make the Super Bowl. Yeah. And Dak's never going to sniff that, man. Jerry, of course, yeah. Jerry hires yes man. They didn't even interview Vrabel. They didn't even interview him. The word was he was too intimidating. Like I said, and I've said this a million times. What is football? It's controlled violence. Kill what's in front of you, whistle. Kill what's in front of you, whistle. Kill what's in front of you, whistle. It's a much, much easier game now than it was years past, but it's a violent game. That's what football is, but yet that's what they said about Vrabel. He was too intimidating as a coach. It just shows you who wants to be stars, who wants to win. But Amazing Creations. Bro, you got a young quarterback. You got young running back, Trevon Henderson, round 2 pick. Your entire left side of the line is Will Campbell, rookie. Jared Wilson, converted center, playing guard out of Georgia. He was a center at Georgia, and he played guard for you guys. You got Morgan Moses was pretty much thrown off the Jets. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, Then you had another Ohio State kid. He was coming in as a blocking tight end, and listen, man, this just shows. I'm not gonna. This isn't gonna be a crazy long video, but it just shows you Jerry is amazing creations. Jerry is nothing without Jimmy. 1000%. I've said that. But listen, like I've said it all the time. That's why from day one, I made this channel an NFL, a draft channel for all 32 teams. And I cover every single college because it's not even enjoyable talking about the Cowboys. That's why I limit them to maybe one video a month. I go on a lot of other Cowboy shows, but nah, bro. I wouldn't give them a fucking penny out of my dollar. The Netflix game on fucking Christmas, I'm going to pay to watch them. 31 years, they've done jack shit. But now look at the Patriots. You had the dynasty with Brady, and you like rebuilt it. I ain't saying you rebuilt a dynasty, but you're right back in the Super Bowl. Denver, they had Russell Wilson's crazy contract, got rid of him, took it on the chin, and boom, hired a coach, Sean Payton. Bang. Denver will be right back in it next year. If Denver would have had a healthy quarterback, this game would have had a different outcome. I ain't saying who would have won, who would have lost, but the score would have been different. But yet, some fan bases are afraid to move on. Miami, they're going to cut Tua. They're going to take $100 million loss on the chin. Yo, it's okay, bro. That's why, that's why teams rebuild and they're right back in it. And other teams just listen. There's a lot of you have to realize NFL has profit sharing. So the team that goes 0-17 versus a team that goes 17-0, they make the same money. So there's no incentive to win. That's why I made this. That's why I cover all 32 teams. The Pats are in the Super Bowl again. Yeah. Danny, you got tonight. I gotta go Rams. I gotta go Rams tonight. If I was, I try to. College is my bread and butter. I try not to do NFL because the NFL, you can't convince me that it's not RIGGED. Cannot, definitely cannot. So my bread and butter. See, Savage, that was so stupid. They're talking about. Yeah, it would be completely stupid to play Javonte Williams. You could throw that money on defense and draft a running back, but with common sense is not common. And like I said, I try not to even talk about them because it raises my blood pressure and it's not enjoyable. But yo, my hat is off. Hat is off to the Patriot fans. And for the teams and the organizations that are afraid to start over, Denver did it. Oh, we have the contract. Yo, it's okay to, take it on the chin for a year or two with $100 million of dead money. What does it matter? You taking it on the chin versus a $500 million quarterback, $200 million, two receivers that a certain organization wants to pay that other receiver another $100 million. So now you got a $500 million quarterback and $200 million wide receivers. They want, and you need a kicker. You need to get to the 50-yard line for the kicker to kick 90-yard field goals. Yeah, bro, it doesn't. That's why I don't talk about the other organizations on this team, bro. But yeah, but yet the fan base won't blame him. I've joked around saying, God forbid, that guy, he should run for, nah, I don't even want to talk about him. I don't even want to talk about the team. Hats off to the Patriots, but it just shows you how much coaching matters. And it also just shows you when you listen to idiot content creators that say F them picks, first of all, you can tell just by looking at them. They never played football. They never coached football. But it just shows you what coaching and one good draft can turn around a season and a franchise. Thank everyone for jumping in the chat. Another game is coming on in about 3 minutes. So, listen, I'm the type of player, my team ain't in it. I could care less. I don't. I'll watch the next game. I probably won't watch the Super Bowl. I will be watching college tape. I've already broke down 384 players on our way to 750 plus an extra 50 sleepers. And one of my sleepers last year was Effin Chisholm. Ironic, a crazy name. But if you're a New England Patriots fan, you know who he is. Yet he was on my sleeper list. Because we all know when you're rocking with the GWO, congrats, Patriots. Thank you, everybody, for jumping in the chat.